it's definitely not going to be a good enough. And they get the K'Sante back. They actually get a last pick coming out from the very, very end of things. And it's still the Jace and the Nidalee. They go for the Kalista Draven in the bot side this time around. So no Nautilus, but still making it work for the side of LGD. Very similar composition, but this time around they're going for that Fiora, which we talked about, into the K'Sante in the NIP OMG Game 3.
Yep, Xiaoshu deciding to opt into the Fiora into K'Sante matchup this time around, so hopefully it will go a lot better. But my eyes are onto this bottom lane. We have the Kalista support locked in for this game too. Responded with the Ashe. I mean, Ashe has always been a traditional counter to Kalista, just even in the ADC role, so I'm really surprised on who decided to opt into who. We didn't get to see who picked first, but they decided to opt into Draven Nidalee once again. I believe these champions are just comfort, or at least they want to get the ball rolling early, because you're not going to win by just going even in the early game and scaling up against a super roster like Weibo. But the entire team composition for both teams looking kind of similar in a lot of elements.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is just, again, as you mentioned, there's a perfect way to kind of describe it. Just comfort coming out here from the side of Weibo. They are very happy with the way things are. They're not, too discouraged with how they're kind of pushing for stuff. And they're just happy to continue with this style of gameplay, like getting himself onto the Varus, working with Xiaohu to make sure they're getting that poke down. And we jump into live, and it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. Again, I want to see Xiaoshu get some more resources coming out from Meteor. I feel like these Nidalee picks, or even these heavy skirmishing early game picks, are great. If you do just that, you gotta skirmish.
This time, this Nidalee doesn't have a lot of CC to work off. I mean, last game, at least you had the Nautilus and Renekton to set you up to land those spears, but we weren't seeing too many spears being landed from Meteor on this Nidalee, so this is really going to be a high demand of mechanical skill when it comes to these skirmishes. But looking at the ball lane again, triple Hobbs coming into game 2. I mean, this is just a flashback to the patch that we were stuck on forever, but there's a reason, and a very good reason, why Varus and Ashe is extremely broken. Just the lane parity compared to what LGD can fight for, already spaced out by Crisp.
I mean, one more volley, and this is a bit of a bad situation to heal the barrier. Ignite comes out, but it's a little bit too little too late. LPC, he's going to flash! Nicely done! And gets himself a little bit of a heal! Double kill for LGD! And a perfect start to this bot side.
You know what? This is exactly what we need. The Draven Kalista lane getting ahead, but without that ignite from the side of Weibo, they just lack that tiny bit of damage, where Chris, in exchange, he had the barrier, so Jinjiao not getting focused down by Weibo Gaming just meant he was able to get that rend off twice and get the execution on both Varus and Ashe. But that does mean he's going to be backing with the gold of 2 kills. I'm going to see how it started off. Chris was looking like he was outspacing the enemy team with that Hail of Blades, but with them playing alongside the Vision, I believe they just dipped right out. Sooner or later, I'm not too sure, but the Ignite gets popped into Light, where the Rend was just so insanely good.
How many spears did he put into that man?
Yeah, Chris just wasn't able to get that Vision onto LPC, so he flashed really late.
Really nicely done there by the bot lane of LGD, and that's the kind of start you need. It's unfortunate that it goes to Jin Zhao, but look, you take any that one around, but good Meteor presence in this bot side means they are going to have a little bit better of a start here from LGD. And this is the thing for Weibo. You go with this kind of setup, and I love that LGD kind of went tit for tat with them. They wanted that fight. They pushed to have that fight at level 1 in bot lane, assuming with the barrier, with the heal, we just have stronger. Instead of Xiaohu, he's going to have to flash. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away. Oh, no! It's like one of those old school Looney Tune cartoons where you just flash straight into the wall. And you're left with a little bit of shame in your heart about how that one went. But again, great start for LGD. They are punishing very, very lackadaisical moves coming out here from Weibo.
Apologies for screaming. I didn't know League of Legends was a horror game. But yeah, like you've been saying, the triple longsword coming in for the side of LGD. I mean, Xiaohu just got extremely low by tanking a tower shot here, trying to stop the back of Jace. Triple tower shots as the Fiora roams down from the top lane. I mean, Xiaohu very happy to pick this kill up, as Xiaohu didn't know what was coming to him and placed face plants into the wall with that flash.
Yeah, it's a rough one right now for the Weibo faithful. They are 2,000 gold down at 4.5 minutes. But we'll see what they can kind of bring it back from this right now. Because, again, we saw in the last game, they had a couple of missteps. But at the end of the day, it was still the Skies K'Sante. It was still pretty much almost identical composition. Apart from now, instead of Vianney, you have an Ashe. So it is pretty much going to be, and they're just doubling down. I love this from LGD. Double down. Make sure you do not let this aggressive bot lane get ahead of you. And now they're looking for more. Risk not able to save you. Still not getting the cash out. I understand it, but I feel like LPC really needs that gold. Jin Zhao. Will he get caught out? No, he won't. Karsa didn't have vision, so he had no idea where Jin Zhao was.
Shot in the dark, and it was a 50-50 chance of hitting it, and he did not end up hitting it. But LGD extremely proactive, already zoning off the bot lane. Oh my god, auto!
What happened? They try to go for Light and it just doesn't work. Jin Zhao doesn't even use his flash as Light keeps himself alive. There's a spear, but Meteor's now put himself in a bad spot. He's probably going to lose his flash at minimum. Never mind, he backs himself away. He's still a cat who's able to pounce their way out of pretty much anything. Xiaohu seeing if he can maybe get level 6 here against XQW, but nothing to be done just so far yet.
That is extremely unfortunate for the side of LGD, where I believe Jin Zhao was just trying to go for that 1-for-1 trade, but legit single digit doesn't end up getting that kill as Karsa follows up with the flash as well.
About 1,000 gold lead now. It's actually getting smaller, funny enough, as the game goes on, but still waiting for that one big cash out here onto the Draven. You see Jin Zhao with 3 kills. Very powerful in his own right. You just need it to kind of go onto the Draven, get that early snowball, get that Essence Reaver going, and really put down some hurt here onto this bot lane. Very, very squishy bot lane, as they have been kind of discoordinated with their flashes for the last while. So they know that Chris will have his, they know that Lights is down. You would imagine Light will be the target for this next potential gank. We wait and see where they want to kind of go for. Coming out now, we see LGD going towards that dragon. Going to be able to pick that one up for themselves. No issues whatsoever. And the game shall stay in their favor. This is positive from LGD. Really excited to see that they can do such great work in the early game. But similar to most of our lower end teams, I need to see it stick, Kitty. I need to make sure that they know what to do with a lead and that they can make the most out of it.
Yeah, the biggest struggle that all these bottom tier teams have is just closing out the game, or at least translating that early gold lead into something more than just kills. I mean, the first dragon does go into the hands of LGD, being a 1-4 scoreline currently, but Meteor consistently hovering this bot side, hopefully to just get more kills into the pockets of LGD ADC. Karsa is hovering, however, so he is level 6 as well. Good force, at least, for the side of Weibo from here on out.
6 could be an opportunity. Take down LPC and ruin those stacks. Meteor and XQW making sure they are not to be outdone. They'll roam down towards this bot side. Heal gets used early by Light, so he doesn't have any summoners now left. He does get hit straight in the face with a javelin. Jin Zhao 4-1-0. Chris has nowhere to go. He'll flash, but they'll flash all on top of him. And now Karsa in a bad spot. Not really going to be able to trade this one back. Meteor! He goes back in. They could have waited for the Whirling Death, but he does not want LPC to get that one there. But at the end of it all, it's still 2-7 to LGD, and they are starting to roll over this Weibo bot lane.
LGD getting a little bit crazy with it in this bottom lane skirmish. I mean, that would have been a perfect dive if Meteor didn't overextend and go for that extra bit of Q and at least get that kill secured. I don't think he got it. He just died. I'm not too sure. We need to get a replay on that. But really great stuff from the side of LGD in this early game, where they are translating that into extra pressure for the side of Weibo Gaming. I mean, Light, which is in a very unfortunate situation without the flash available, he just gets sniped across the map. But Chris, I mean, also getting a Jace Q to his face. Both bot laners just having a terrible time. I need to see if Meteor got this kill, however, because he did trade 1-for-1 in this instance. So he had to take 2 tower shots. He didn't get it! Not worth.
Yeah. XQW will say otherwise, as he came out with 2 kills after that, so not bad for him. And Jin Zhao is a very, very happy support player right now. 3,600 for a support at this stage. The game is kind of nutty. Already has his Umbral Glaive, sitting very happy with the amount of gold he's been able to pick up for himself. And this bot lane working very, very well for LGD and Weibo. They are going to be able to trade it off for a Rift Herald for the moment, so they're going to be able to get that one for themselves and maybe trade that one into some things. But they know right now they just can't stay in this bot side. They're not level 6 yet, Kitty. They don't have access to those massive key ultimates.
Yeah, and Jinjiao has the Umbral Glaive already at 10 minutes, so just look at the vision control that LGD has been able to garner over the past few seconds. I mean, LPC, 3 plates going to his pockets, solo plates as well. Meteor, of course, always hovering this ADC as well, but I mean, Weibo, you gotta pick it up.
Oh, LPC, he gets brought into the Kalista ultimate, so he's not going to be brought back out until he is safe. Jin Zhao is not going to fall just yet. They're looking for LPC. The smite doesn't finish him, but the false kick does. And that's going to be one traded for one. It's the Kalista for the Vi, and now Meteor isn't in a great position either. Xiaohu says, I TP'd in, I'm getting the kill. There's the Ash Arrow. Xiaohu gets a double, and all that hard work, and Weibo just take it all away from them.
In the blink of an eye, LGD throws the game. I believe a 3-for-1 trade, only killing the jungle of Weibo. But Jesus Christ, that was a very long extended dive to say the least. And they definitely were a bit greedy with it. Xiaohu flashing forward. Does he land the last Q? Oh, stopwatch.
He needs... And boop! There it is. Stopwatch was kind of pointless there at that stage. You don't really have a way out, but I love how genuinely tilted you seem to get about these things. He was like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? It's not how you play the game, but it is unfortunate for LGD now. Out of the last 2 minutes of play, we're looking at 2 kills going over to Xiaohu, who's going to be able to go back, pick himself up so much. Yep, Luden's Tempest finished up straight away. So he is in such a point of power. And let's have a look at the replay here, because it almost goes well for LGD, but they just take too long to do it.
LGD definitely getting a little bit greedy. I mean, Jinjiao just going straight forward too light. 1v1ing him, misses the Q especially. Burns the flash from the ADC, but that does mean you are 1 HP. LPC also sitting on no mana, so no axes from this Draven, doing significantly less damage. And both the bottom laners of Weibo actually hit level 6 from this play. And it was just an overall winning fight for Weibo, and he lands the last Varusol onto LPC, and this was Xiaohu picked up as well.
Oh no, LGD, it's all coming apart. They have got support here, but the Ash Arrow is going to stop Jin Zhao from getting in there. Not quite get him. I'm going to say get their mid laner out, but XQW cannot get out of there. And you can see just so much hurt being poured down by Xiaohu, who is 4 levels ahead of LPC. He is level 11 right now and just catapulting himself way further ahead. We haven't even looked topside in about 13 minutes because it's all Xiaohu who is grabbing Weibo and his bot lane like a crying child in the shop and saying, we are going home, we are taking this win, I don't care if you're throwing a tantrum.
Look, I'm also crying for Xiao Qinghua because, like you've been saying, I mean, he was just consistently hovering for this Draven Kalista lane where it did allow them to get ahead, but you need to remember that Jinjiao has all these kills in his pockets, no one else, so everyone else is suffering for Jinjiao to get ahead. But in that play bottom lane, I mean, he just straight up died, and Xiaohu, as a result, he has been farming in the middle lane and getting those mythic items online where he is now one-shotting the side of LGD.
I mean, what started off so great for LGD is still going well, but they need to make sure they get something back here because this bot lane hasn't led to as much fruit as they probably hoped in their harvest. So right now they are just trying to lick their wounds, pick themselves back up, dust themselves back off. As Meteor clears out that ward, he does get spotted out, but right now it is all the Xiaohu show because he is just doing so much to keep their team in this. Let's have a look at the replay here because, again, it is just XQW thinking he's safe, but Scat of the Week is so powerful.
Xiaohu is one of the best singers we have in the entire world, and he just timed that CC perfectly onto the Jace where Chris picks up this kill, even burning the ultimate and getting an extra onto Xiaohu's pockets. But yeah, this Syndra is getting a little bit out of control. I mean, your spells have to land as Nidalee, but the Kalista comes in and picks up that last kill as well. With this Nidalee, once again, we're not seeing too much from Meteor. And you need this Nidalee and Jace ahead to play towards your win condition, which is playing for poke.
Yeah, you just can't really function if you're not able to get this Nidalee Jace going for themselves. And There is some decent kills, but you're not on a first item yet for XQW, who has really just been left in the dust by Xiaohu. And sometimes the way it is, unfortunately, you have 17 teams in a league. There are just going to be definitively worse teams than others. It's kind of the nature of things, as we just see the replay of the mid lane turret going down in favor of Weibo, and the 1,000 gold lead whittles down a little bit more. Dragon was taken while that was all happening by Weibo, so they've got themselves away from losing a soul to LGD in this early stages, and all that good work, all that early pressure that they were able to put down from the side of LGD feels like it's for naught right now, because it's just not really equating into anything. And even on the top side, yes, there was some moments there where the Shy maybe thought Xiaoshu had an opportunity to kill him, but 20 CS up, you're still as happy in this matchup as you ever were.
Yeah, and Oshin, I just need to remind the audience that Weibo actually had a really tough early game. I believe 1 and 4 towards the side of LGD. So even as a super team, they do have a lot of disadvantages, or at least weaknesses. And I'm afraid if you're going against the teams that are going to be in playoffs, you can't be making these mistakes. Especially with someone like Xiaohu and the Shy, very big names, even Karsa and Crisp. Definitely need to clean that up for later of the weeks.
Well, Xiaohu's picked himself up a Magi Soul Stealer second. Wants to do some light reading. Only has 4 stacks in it right now. So only 4 pages in. Yeah, Magi Soul Stealer already picked up, and they're going for this chicken top side, but are you sure you're the ones doing the picking? Because they might have found themselves a lone AD carry who was not with his team. 2 more stacks goes over to Xiaohu, and now he's that little bit stronger, that little bit scarier. He does have a scatter.
They're looking.
He might look to try and make it work. They will get a catch on a Meteor, but I like what Xiaoshu did there. He pushes forward with the riposte, knowing the stun is coming in, so no one can follow up, but the Rift Herald's still alive and well.
I mean, the Shy will happily trade 1 for 1 for the AD carry of LGD. I mean, Draven dying just means his stacks are gone. Although 2 items, the Bloodthirst and ER. But Xiaohu is so fed. 8 stacks already. When is he going to hit 25?
I don't know if LGD are going to be able to survive for that long, to be totally honest with you. It's it does feel like Weibo are just picking them apart again. They will say they got the Shy down, so that's good for them, but no one's going to be going for this Dragon, or sorry, this Rift Herald, because Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. I feel like the Mountain Soul, very powerful for either of these sides. And honestly, it gives Weibo another to fight. They seem to be the ones that are more comfortable taking a front-to-back 5v5.
Most definitely, and this just goes back to my point about how LGD doesn't have a lot of CC. I mean, realistically, your only hard CC is Xin Zhao throwing in LPC as the AD carry Draven. We saw that work for T1, but this time around, you have someone like the Jason Nidalee that can't follow up, so Draven's just acting as an engage tool, which I don't think is the best thing in this game.
No, not quite just yet. We'll see the Whirling Death come out as LPC looks to try and get away now from the Chain of Corruption. Xin Zhao loses about half his health bar as LGD lose topside control, gain around the Dragon, but looks like Weibo are very happy with this trade for the moment. They're getting a turret, they're getting priority in this top half of the map as Xiaohu looks even more menacingly to try and kill off Xiaoshu and say, you cannot have my slightly augmented name. And Shelly gets to drop down in this top side, so that should just be the tower confirmed, and XQW shouldn't be able to do much about it.
Weibo is definitely just saying, take the Dragon. We don't care. We're going to get 2 towers in this top side, just in extreme Herald value and opening up the map once again, where LGD, the macro game, just isn't in their favor. And Weibo gets to regain that vision control in this top side.
Gold was little by little, bit by bit, they bring prop back in favor of Weibo, and you can see it kind of reflected in the items as well. And getting first, second items onto your big carries is huge. You do have the Bloodthirster, though, for LPC, so he's got a little bit of extra survivability, but so many people can get on top of him. He has so many things he needs to deal with, and without a cleanse, it's so hard to really see how he's going to be able to try and survive. Chain of Corruption, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the stun from the Scatter of the Week of Xiaohu. There are so many small little things that aren't on massive cooldowns that can catch you out. If LPC gets caught, he's dead.
Oh,
doesn't get caught out by
Karsa.
one, will get caught out by the other. And they will force out the Kalista ultimate. So that engage you talked about doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist at all, but LPC going with the heal for this Game 2 does mean that they were just purely looking for the advantage in that 2v2. But like you said, in this current game state, Weibo just has so many engage tools and CC. So if they ever get their hands onto LPC, I mean, he's just straight up dead. He can't escape. Even with the flash, there's just way too much follow-up. But especially for Draven, I mean, you want to be the one moving forward. You want to be the one playing aggressive, but Xiaoqing getting caught out again.
What did he do here? He flashes, he stays alive. TP comes out there, and that's going to be more summoners burned here on the side of LGD. And what did it cost you really on the side of Weibo? 2 ultimates. Oh! So nice there. Block by Meteor to make sure his AD carry. I don't even think he really had a choice in the matter of whether or not he blocked it, but he did. And they will not lose their AD carry.
I'm not too sure if LGD predicted that Ashe ultimate, but it was really good block from the tank. Who is the tank? I wasn't too sure. Getting a little bit tired. But it's okay. He's caffeine is life. As Xiaohu is still sitting on that 8. He is very comfortably playing this game as the wave state and the entire map state is working in the favor of Weibo, where Xiaoqing does live on 1 as he flashes away, but it doesn't matter because you burned so much towards this bottom side play where you can't recreate something like that once again. And the TP also gets burnt as well, where Chris predicts this back. It does get blocked by the Nidalee, in fact.
Blocked by the Nidalee. Good bro Nidalee there. Making sure his brother XQW can get himself out and alive, but this game's slowly dwindling into chaos right now, Kitty. It feels like we are just waiting for one big moment to really kind of set it apart from the rest of the game, and it does feel like every single time we come back into the map, it is just Weibo putting down damage, Weibo getting control around the map, Weibo dictating where and when these fights will happen. And
Chris a little bit caught out.
2 tapped, 3 tapped. Will he get killed? That's the question. He is in the middle of the Baron pit, and he will be killed off, secure, 300 gold. But oh my god, that damage coming out from Xiaohu is ridiculous right now. He hasn't even used his ultimate. He uses it now, but that's because he's only up to killing off 2 people. Scat of the week is good. Meteor will not fall down just yet. Finally gets taken out by Karsa. More and more pages stacked in the book, signed by Xiaohu. And he comes out now with 20 stacks in that Medjai's. While that was all happening, bot lane was being pushed in by the Shy. Weibo completely in control.
I mean, Weibo, they just have 2 extremely OP buttons. The outplay button, like I said. the Syndra with her ultimate and Karsa, of course, getting that lockdown ability does mean LGD is really struggling to finish people off. And it was a really good pick to start off the entire play. The Chris!
Yeah. Oh my
no.
god.
Oh no.
I need to know how much damage that is, because that is upsetting. That is upsetting amounts of damage. He might even forego his Shadow Flame just to get the Rabadons, because no one has magic resistance.
Yeah, Chris gets a little bit caught out here, burns double summoners, and just tries to buy time as Xiaohu and Karsa are just looking over the wall. Xiaohu lands a double stun here as well. I mean, just deleting Kalista and Xiao Qinghua, where Meteor tries everything that he's got to kill Light. But Xiaohu presses the outplay button here and gets a really big stun onto Meteor as well, where they just don't have enough damage to ever kill the side of Weibo Gaming.
Yep, and
he's just farming KD at this point.
Xiaohu did exactly what I thought he would do. Picked up the Rabadon's death cap. Yeah, that is Rabadon's alongside of Medjai's with Luden's Tempest. This is the Xiaohu show. This is just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I'm exactly seeing why you stand this man so much. The arrow lands. Oh my lord, run! LPC, run for your life!
LPC very happy to have a Kalista as his support in this particular game, because otherwise that would have been him falling to the wayside, dead and buried. There's just no magic resist, apart from literally a pair of Merc Treads from XQW. Nothing you're going to do. Light does take a lot of damage and will be burnt down with another Ignite. Jin Zhao picks up that particular kill.
Oh no! Xiaohu is just deleting people.
God! Dominated, dissipated, and destroyed. Xiaohu wants this done. 12, 2, and 3. Nothing but the corpses of the damned are left for LGD.
I mean, even Mr. Observer was zooming in on LPC's dead body. Fed Draven or Fed Xiaohu? I think I'll take Fed Xiaohu any day of the week, but this game, I believe the Shy had a 0% KP until that fight we just had, so he was 0-1-0. But he's gonna win the game with only 2 assists.
I mean, it does the K'Sante things, kept the Fiora in the side lane, made sure they couldn't take turrets, but let's have a look at this. Like, how much damage is this at the end of it? Because Light just gets caught out. You're not the Syndra. You're not Xiaohu.
At least it's
Xiaohu
something,
is
though.
Xiaohu.
At least it's something. Light does get killed off here, but the amount of lockdown, LPC can't play the game. Straight up dies. I mean, even with the Nilly Spear landing, you don't have any follow-up. Not XQC, oh my lord, XQW. Just had to kind of just stare at the Syndra as like, hey, what's up? I'm trying to clear the wave here before my Nexus explodes.
I want to see him ult. I want to see him do a Q on like Jin Zhao and see if it just one-shots him, because he's got a Shadow Flame now. I want to see a Penta. I want Xiaohu to get a Penta. I'm a Xiaohu fanboy. Give my boy a Penta. He deserves it. He's been playing so well. Even in Weibo's losses recently, Xiaohu has proven that he is still a cut above the rest. And just doing so much here and showing why he has such a preference for the Syndra. Once it gets ahead, it is monstrous.
Playing alongside the vision control as well, LGD does smell the Baron getting started. I mean, your Fiora is still in that bottom lane. Don't have a ward to TP to. I mean, you have to go for the steal.
Gotta go for something. Asharo lands. Light, though, taking a fair bit of poke damage across the wall. Hit with a spear and an accelerated shock blast. There is Xiaohu claiming the Baron for his team. They're gonna jump straight in onto Xiaoshu. This Karsa and the Shy were waiting with him to try and make a move there, but it's all for naught. Baron now available. You got one last hope. You gotta fight. You gotta do it now. LGD, do you have anything in you? Are you just gonna be deleted, eviscerated from this game? They're trying to just kite this one back. Doing successful job of it so far, but the minions are flooding in, and now Xiaoshu can't join the rest of his team.
Oh my lord!
Goes the Weasel! Double kill for Xiaohu, and he knows there's no more kills to be had for him. He's going to end the game. It's an ace. It's a 2-0 series, and Weibo slapped back after what was a dodgy early game. They say to LGD, it ain't about the early, it's about how you finish.
It's also about how Xiaohu ends the game 14-4 on the Syndra, second game in a row. I mean, you just shouldn't be giving Xiaohu something like his Syndra. It is definitely his most iconic champion, and it dominated the entire game as LGD never stood a chance in those team fights.
LGD never stood a chance. And again, this is kind of what we expected. Look, on paper, Weibo very heavy favorites coming into today, but we had some questions. Where are they going to be tested in ways that, you know, would be unbecoming of a team that we would have in our top 5, top 6 conversation? Are they going to be a team that are struggling to kind of